Out of respect for the developers, I'm not going to go over the art assets and roadmap for the upcoming Insomniac games. However, this video we're going to dive into a ton of business level information and insight, and especially when it comes down to the numbers and sell-through, and really talk about why PlayStation is in such a perilous state. That doesn't mean that they're dead, that doesn't mean they're going away, that doesn't mean that they can't turn it around. But what I've been saying here online on this channel for a long time now is that the state of PlayStation is in disarray, and I only generally get pushback from PlayStation Andies who don't want to believe it. But here is the numbers. Here's the justification. And I'm not doing this because out of spite, and I'm not doing this because I just want to feel like I was right. I've done this and I've been saying these things because there has to be a change. The industry has shifted and PlayStation has been left out in the cold, and that is why they are in the state where they are today. And this probably was accelerated by their surprise that Microsoft bought Activision. But there's a lot to cover in today's video. Again, we're going to go through the actual facts. We can compare this now also to the Xbox leaks that happened earlier in the year. And this has been a year of absolute insight into our favorite industry, into our passion, into gaming, whether we like the news or not. So let's go ahead and dive in. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here. And to the first person who writes, Notification Squad represent, in the comments, I'm going to give you an Amazon gift card. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hitting that bell. We're going to be doing more giveaways on the channel. In fact, we already have a giveaway going on right now where it comes down to my previous video about Light No Fire. Be sure to check that out. There's not like, you're not in a rush. You don't need to go leave that video just to go be eligible for the giveaway there. But just be sure to check the video out after this, and so that way you can become eligible to win some more Amazon gift cards. We're going to be doing some giveaways as we kind of slowly march our way up to 100,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribe button, for liking this video, and for also being a part of the greater community. Now, good luck to all y'all. Let's go ahead and dive in to the industry information, right? Industry shift, the leapfrog. Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard positions it into leapfrogging our current pillars. Activision provides incredible strategic value across live service games, scale in mobile and PC storefront. In addition, Microsoft is building a mobile gaming store to compete with Apple and Google. Now, I've stated that Battle.net, I think, is one of those hidden gems that nobody really kind of focused on. Everybody's focusing in on IP, and I understand that was the argument. That was what a lot of the court hearing was about. Call of Duty got a crazy ton of marketing throughout all of it, like they needed more. But the Battle.net aspect, what this means, to translate this and what I've been saying, is that Sony's big strength, and this is coming from the Xbox ecosystem, is that they have been able to leverage access to more people in order to, make everything cost more for Microsoft to play. And that's just business, right? Like, hey, we've got, we've put in the work. We've sold, 40, 50, 60 million consoles. You've got 20. If you want to get that exclusivity deal, that means that Microsoft has to kind of come up and cover the spread between the two platforms. But what they have been doing, what Microsoft has been doing, is it's been covering that spread through multi-devices. So you're seeing, that's why with Microsoft, where everything is just everywhere, that just makes it easy. And what happens, especially when you're talking about generations of gamers, is a massive shift into their ecosystem, because it doesn't matter where you're going to play. Typically on Twitter, you see a lot of, PlayStation Andies, they've been really leaning into like, Microsoft, you don't need to buy an Xbox. And that's what Xbox is saying. You don't need to buy an Xbox, because whether you want to buy an Xbox or not, whether you want to play on PC or not, or mobile or not, we've got you. Like, we've already covered that spread. And what this will do is it will give Microsoft the ability to leverage so much potential when it's all said and done. But it doesn't just stop there. Let's go through this. For Call of Duty, it has a major threat in 2027. Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard could disrupt and threaten console gaming and game subscription markets. For console, the shift from PlayStation to Xbox with timing and in-game differentials as weapons. This is the Sony play. That's what Sony was doing. Now, Microsoft says they're not going to do that. I want to hold them to that. I don't want to see that. Just make the game, put it wherever gamers are, and let them play. I always was annoyed that Sony would do this, and it was never enough to make me actually go and buy that game on the console. Generally speaking, as a PC gamer, I felt like it was just, like it was crap business tactics. I get it, I understand it, but it sucks, and I'm not going to champion it. And yes, Microsoft did that crap back in the day too. It was wrong back then. I think it was wrong today, but Sony's got to play, the cards they got to play, because when we start going through their game sales, you're going to understand the risk here. Like they are over leveraged into a lot of degree when it comes to these costs, and it boggles my mind. Subscriptions, obviously Microsoft comprehends ecosystem coupled with exclusivity creates their dominance. Sony's impact, massive threat to PlayStation Plus, upwards of 1.5 billion of annual revenue threat. That's a gap to fill. 45 million subs at $12 a month at 12 months at 20% MP for third party. Day and date threat. Post-acquisition, Microsoft will put Activision games on Game Pass. Day and date, 100%. That's going to happen. Leapfrog. Activision provides incredible strategic value across service games and mobile, which we've covered a little bit in the previous thread. Microsoft can supply multi-game subscriptions at 50%, console games 50%, and PC at 60%. Sony pillars are already dated and behind the competition. It's great to see that they are very well aware of where they're falling behind. Sony's impact is needing to expand. The elusive perfect game subscription, premium content, expectation of free, best-in-class games creates unsustainable model. Monthly and incremental subs won't cover this investment. Unified mobile PC console experience doesn't exist. Form factor and computer power are too diverse. And then Sony's impact, premium sales model is the central approach. So what's interesting about this breakdown is that I think it's best we kind of bring in some numbers and sales. Now, this isn't representing of every game in Sony's lineup, but Miles Morales selling 10.2 million, Spider-Man 1 Remaster 4 million, Ratchet & Clank 2.2 million, Spider-Man 2 10.5 million, and projected Spider-Man 3 will be 14.5 million, with the Wolverine doing 10 million. So Spider-Man 3 and Wolverine, those are projected numbers. Total revenue, Miles Morales 260 million. Total profit, 104 million. It was 122% of ROI, aka return on investment, for those of you who are new to the term. Break even, they needed to sell 3 million units. For Spider-Man 1 Remaster, break even was 1 million. They made 48% at 11 million for their budget of 39 million. Now, Ratchet & Clank, total revenue 73 million, costs 81 million. It lost $8 million, 10% ROI. Break even, they needed to sell a little bit more than 2 million, but they didn't quite make it. Spider-Man 2 rounding this out with a 5.5 break even, currently sitting at 35% ROI. Total costs 315 million for Spider-Man 3. Total costs looking around 385 million. Wolverine 305 million. This is unsustainable. And that's why you saw them try to shift into, delivering way more value and with the live service model. But then that has been pushing them back and not allowing them to do what they need to do. Now, let's cover some PC sales before we're going to go into licensing terms. I think this is really fascinating. So first and foremost, you can see here, per Steam Direct Sales, Spider-Man Remastered sold 1.3 million units since August 2022. Horizon Zero Dawn at 3.3 million, God of War at 2.5, Days Gone at 1.7, Spider-Man Remastered at 1.3. The Uncharted Legacy Thieves Collection is at under 500K. Spider-Man Miles Morales is under 500K, and then Sackboy: A Big Adventure is sitting around 62,000. And this in and of itself, I'm actually, it's great to see. I'm a part of the 1.3 million. In fact, I think when it comes down to Spider-Man 2, I will probably purchase that also on Steam, just kind of thinking about my ecosystem and what the flexibility that I get through playing Steam games, especially with the Logitech G Cloud. But anyway, I think there's some interesting discussion to be had when it comes to sell-through. I'll be very curious, and I might have to now check out Horizon Zero Dawn if it did so well on PC. You guys let me know if you'd like to see me pick that game up. I've never played one, so it'd be kind of interesting to see. Anyway, let's talk about X-Men licensing terms. This is PlayStation and PC. A commitment of $621 million, basically comprising of $120 million per game, you know, as a starter, $30 million per in marketing with additional if they decide to go with a fourth title, $9 million recouped advance for each required title. So they got to pay $9 million. Release the games by 2035 and sell them all through 2038 for exclusivity. So between December 31st, 2035, Marvel cannot release or announce any X-Men games on console PC streaming or use the X-Men character in a competitive advantage in a game. Play as Wolverine in Ultimate Alliance exclusively on Xbox is the example they give. X-Men characters can appear, but multifamily Marvel games, Adventures, Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel retains the rights to children's games and certain X-Men games from the 90s, but they cannot release or announce these within 45 days before or after release or announce of any other X-Men games. Marvel royalty. Digital games, they earn 9 to 18% of net sales. Physical games, 19 to 26% of net sales. DLC, 19 to 26% of net. And then hardware bundles, 35 to 50% of wholesale bundle price. You might be thinking that's chunky. That's a huge chunk. When you start to think about it, it's almost like if you say for every game sold, 1/4 of it ish is going to Marvel. 25% ish, like on average. Like we were just gonna kind of split the difference between all that, maybe 20%, right? Like that's like a fifth. That's huge. That's a massive licensing fee, and obviously they want the games to be successful, but that brings back that Ratchet and Clank when we start to look at those numbers again. Ratchet and Clank selling 2.2 million, Marvel pulling in 5 to 10. So that's, I think, the most fascinating thing, and it's crazy to think that here we are in 2023 wrapping out this year with numbers. Now this highlights, I think, what Jim Ryan in his initial response was like, oh, this isn't a big deal. But then as they thought about what competitive advantages this gives Microsoft, then I think that's why you saw him fight tooth and nail to try and get this thing blocked in the court system. But that obviously, we know history at this point. We know what's happened. And at the end, I'm very curious to see what they do and how they bring this forward. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to go check out the Light No Fire video. I'll have it pinned up here or something like that for y'all. And I just wish you guys all the very best. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, especially as it relates to the business side of PlayStation. Do you think they're in trouble? Do you think they're going to change? Or are they going to just double down and continue to release these games? The thing I continue to praise them for is their commitment to quality content. They've earned that reputation, but that reputation is costing them. And so we're talking about sustainability here. And with certain things closing down recently, I think, factions essentially shutting down, the live service model, I don't think they need 10 games, but I do think they need a handful of games to help offset costs between these just tentpole releases. And I do wonder if we'll start to see them supporting PC closer to day and date. We'll have to see what that entails. And right now, I think that is the pathway forward. But, at the end of the day, it's their company. So it's going to be something to watch regardless. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. But until then, take care.